I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then a middle P. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me shit, stick it in the bullroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then a middle P. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me shit, stick it in the bullroom. Epoch got me waiting 3 more hours. Stacking all these years higher than a tower. Having all these nodes feel like superpowers. Investing all this bread, never been a coward. Call me Mr. Bond, money in the vault. I stay in the front, feeling like the goal. Don't worry about the haters, got the detonator. I'll kill in every market, call me Terminator. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then a metal P. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me shit, stick it in the bullroom. I've been getting on my BNB and stacking these. Pairing it with EMP and then a metal P. Gotta get myself a bag before the bull run. Gotta take some me shit, stick it in the bullroom.
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me back. I can hear you loud and clear. All right.
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, I think I fixed it. Oh man, I gotta go through the whole intro all over again. Can you guys hear me now on YouTube? Alright. Yes,
Yep,
better.
looks
Everybody
like
says,
it. Yep.
alright, time is on our side. Yes, time is on our side. Oh man, sorry about that, everybody. Again, I a year and a half into this, I still feel like a noob. So, all right, let me start from the top. Again, welcome to EMP. This is our live AMA. We do them twice a week. Usually I'm joined by my fellow team member and co-host LA. Unfortunately, she had a commitment today, but I'm joined by the second best thing, Cody. Cody, how are you, brother?
Doing well, doing well.
All right,
Excited to be
awesome.
here.
Yeah, right on, brother. So yeah, a lot of you might remember Cody. Again, he's been kind of the architect behind Fusion. Again, it feels like we've been working together for 6 months now on all this, and it is a group effort. I mean, all LA Bull, all the team members, Jake again, and all of our hired help as well. The new devs working on Fusion, we've all had our hand in making Fusion perfect. But Cody really has spearheaded all that. So we brought Cody back on to hopefully answer maybe some questions. Again, every time we do some questions, we get some alpha that leaks. So hopefully we won't get too far ahead of the game. Unfortunately, we don't have the white paper ready for today. However, this will be the first look at the Fusion UI. So that is a bit of a consolation prize. And some other bullish news. We're about 75% sure that we will be able to release the white paper this coming Monday on the next AMA. So we're just tying up some of the loose ends. Again, making sure everything is cohesive. And again, I'm sure there'll be white paper V2 and V3 and V4. That's just the nature of the beast. But at least we'll have something out to really get all of you prepared. And like I said, we'll be showing some screenshots of the UI here as well. It's only about 5% of what is coming, but at least want to give you something. And there is some blurred out images as well, because some things are still a bit confidential. We don't want to release too early, but we have a lot of really, really good stuff coming. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to pull that up. We'll pull up what the cover of the white paper will be. Oh, I lied. There you go. That's the EMP Fusion diagram that we've been showing a while now. All right, there it is. So, EMP Fusion, the infinite passive income loop. So again, as you can see at the bottom there, everything is really becoming modularized, and whether it's an NFT or a card in the marketplace, this makes it a lot easier for people to be able to understand and cash out as we go. So speaking of that, let's kind of maybe give them an overview. Cody, I don't know, maybe just give a high-level overview again of really what Fusion is meant to do by taking away the human error and really adding guardrails into where because of our central grid and microgrid, it really essentially removes selling pressure on EMP. So you want to elaborate on that really fast? Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, for sure. Would you mind pulling up the previous picture that you had of the whole thing?
Yeah, for sure. Let me get it 1 second.
And while AJ's
Go
pulling
ahead.
that up, just want to make clear, and I don't know if it was while AJ was on mute and there were some sound issues, I just want to reemphasize that everything that we're showing graphic-wise is subject to change. A lot of it has evolved since the very first things. You've heard of this massive 40-page deck that I put together when I presented this to AJ and the team. And I had some original kind of concept art in there as well. And a lot of it has just totally changed. So, and till we get to that final form, just know that this is the direction we're heading, but some of these things will be subject to possibly change as well. So anyways, with that.
Great disclaimer. And real fast, Cody, sorry to interrupt you, brother, but if anybody, again, we had technical difficulties in the beginning, so a little flustered getting started here. But yeah, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube page as well. And as we go through this, like Cody said, not only is this all subject to change, but some things will be blurred out as well. Again, not only because it might be sensitive information, but also because we're updating the graphics as well. The UI and the front end is usually the last part of the process. we want to make sure that all the code is solid, everything is functioning behind the scenes or under the hood, as Cody likes to say, that we're through all the testing, and then usually UI is one of the last steps. So that should also show you that we're almost there. I mean, we're getting really, really close to launch. So, and then finally, before I let Cody take over on what we were asking, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. I cannot guarantee that we'll get to it. Again, a lot of you are good about extracting the alpha from us, whether we want to give it or not, in the questions. But we'll do our best to give some more today, again, as I know we prepare for the white paper. So, all right, Cody, now you have the floor, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, so you have to stop me if I start going too deep because I don't want to give out too
All right, brother,
much.
I will. I will. I need a blowhorn sound effect or something, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
One of those mute buttons every
Yeah.
time somebody drops the F-bomb on public
Exactly.
TV,
Yep.
right?
Beep. Yeah. Exactly.
Beep, yeah.
Yeah. All
So
right. Go ahead.
anyways, so the infinite passive income loop known as Fusion, right? When we designed this as the EMP team really started honing in on this, we wanted to create a platform that would create the foundation for EMP in the final form, right? And so it was imperative for us to really take a step back and to build the pillars of what EMP could be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? It is possible to create a sustainable project, but it has to have solid and it has to have scalability in its foundation, right? And so that's one thing that we're basically looking to do with Fusion. And if you listen to the last AMA, AJ and LA talked about how the boardroom will be going away and how Fusion is going to be the next level or the next generation to the boardroom. And so with that being said, they've kind of alluded to a couple of these foundational pillars, but it really just boils down to these 4 pillars. And it's not rocket science, right? It's once you kind of catch the vision of what we're doing here, you'll be able to see the scalability and the stability that'll come from this, right? And so the first pillar that we'll talk about is the central grid. This is where it all starts. This is where all of the investors or quote unquote players will enter into Fusion. And from there, the central grid is basically, it's a reward single stake pool of EMP. And from there, you will basically earn out a daily ROI paid out in energy, which is just basically another term for Eshare. And we'll explain the difference of what those two will be. And so from there, you'll basically on a daily basis earn energy. And that energy will then be shifted off to a microgrid. And that microgrid is it's a representation. It's a safe environment that we've created for each of the different investors into the central grid. And that represents not only your percentage of ownership of the central grid, but it also provides you a lot of different gameplay and strategy that you can do to optimize multiple ways of earning a passive income. And so that helps add to the infinite passive income loop that we've created within Fusion, right? And from there, I'm pretty sure we'll dive into a little bit as we discuss the graphics and things like that. But inside of the microgrid, you'll receive your daily energy, and that energy gets dispersed out into your microgrid. And inside of the microgrid, you'll have what's known as batteries. And these batteries are meant to provide utility, provide, like I said, lots of different little strategies and gameplays from there. Likewise, we wanted to make sure that your energy is always being put to use. So whatever kind of mini game that you're playing, or if you're not playing a mini game, whatever energy isn't being utilized, it'll take us into the third pillar, which is buyback and build, right? And that buyback and build is basically designed to help put your energy to work for you so that it's just not sitting there, right? And so at the end of a disbursement of energy to your microgrid, that leftover energy will basically be used and to go back and increase your position within the central grid, right? Ultimately leading to more of an ROI, daily ROI payout based upon that percentage of ownership. And so all of the transactions through the Fusion loop are done through the marketplace. And the marketplace is very unique in its own thing. I'm pretty sure we'll devote a whole AMA to, once that gets rolled out, kind of discussing what that is. But if you've ever shopped online and participated in any type of NFT marketplace, you kind of get the concept of what a marketplace is going to be, what the EMP marketplace could go to. This is really where the scalability comes into play for EMP in the future, because it's really endless on the possibilities that we could do with it. From here, you can buy batteries to put into your microgrid that allow you to do certain utilities, services. AJ's dropped a lot of different alpha from, being able to participate in whitelist pre-sales with partnerships, being able to deposit into certain things like the Detonator and other EMP DAAS products. And then also, I've even dropped things like being able to buy merchandise from it, right? Like that EMP hoodie or that EMP hat, right? So from there, like I said, all the transactions go directly through here from buyback, the buyback and build. You can even jump in there to deposit into the Detonator, et cetera, et cetera. So trying to keep it light. AJ probably went into a couple of little rabbit holes I probably wasn't supposed to, but hey, this is why they tune in, right?
Totally, Cody. No, I love it, bro. Thank you. You gave me a nice break with my voice. Usually I'm the one going in through all this, and it's nice to hear somebody else explain Fusion, especially from the proverbial horse's mouth, for sure. So, and I did just update my settings on YouTube again. Hopefully, you guys can hear me better. I know there's still been some audio issues. Man, like I said, I feel like a total noob a year and a half going through all this, and still. So, all right, now everybody says it's perfect. All right, good deal. Oh man, gotta love the random updates that just throw all the settings off. So, all right, that was an incredible overview, Cody. Again, the more we talk about it, I think the more all of you will become comfortable. I know that EMP Fusion can be a little overwhelming, to begin with, but the whole idea is that this actually allows the ecosystem to work even more intuitively, even more, seamlessly, and ultimately making everybody more money in the process. One of the major fundamentals that Cody mentioned was that essentially we're migrating to where everybody is participating in Fusion as if they were already in an auto compounder. And for those that are already in Yield Wolf or Beefy or Magic or any of the yielding auto compounders, Dex Finance, any of those, that is so fundamentally important because it essentially takes your eShare rewards and sells them to add more EMP ETH LP, which again, yes, it's a little sell pressure on eShare, but it's massively beneficial to PEG and actually giving you more ownership of the protocol. So now we are actually building it in to Fusion, where you have no choice but to participate that way. And this is incredible because not only does it make things much more efficient, but there is a lot less economic leakage. Again, something we've talked about in the past, because you're getting credit for all that energy 24/7. And Cody mentioned batteries, which we'll get into in a minute here. Again, I have some awesome graphics to show you that will make this a lot easier to understand. But the batteries are a way to cash out of Fusion without ever, hurting the ecosystem. And not only are you able to cash out, but you're also able to cash out in pretty much any asset that you would like, whether it's a stable token or more Ethereum. There's so many options. So, all right, let me go ahead, Cody. Do you want to add any more to that, or can we move on to the next part?
No, I just want to answer just two real quick questions that I
Yes, please
saw
do.
here. One was from Vino Mystic, talking about, curious if this can be answered. Will there be fees associated with each tax on the marketplace? If so, can these fees be disclosed currently? I'm going to answer half of that for now.
Perfect.
Yes, there will be a tax put on it. It's very similar, like if you live in the States, paying sales tax type of thing. That's basically what it's going to be like. I'm not going to disclose the fees just yet, but just know that there are very, very small amount of fee that goes with it. So
I love it.
um,
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Again, they not heavy taxes, but yeah, very similar to a sales tax here in the U.S. And I do want to clarify again, Cody might get mad at me on this, but all of those fees go back into Fusion rewards. So again, the team will not be taking. Usually, in any protocol, you have a developer fee, whether they disclose that or not. Um, a lot of us know already here at EMP. Our team gets a small allocation of Eshare. That's how we pay the bills and pay for hosting and development and everything else. But we're never selling EMP or the native asset, and so any fees that we take through the marketplace will go right towards rewards. And that's why it's another amazing thing is Fusion is actually a revenue stream for the protocol. So the marketplace becomes another revenue stream for us. So yeah. Great question, Vino, and yeah, Cody. We'll be able to disclose the actual percentages shortly. But all right, go ahead. Was there another question too?
yeah, and so Simon asked, so is the build kind of like a compounding every day for us? Yes, it totally is. So that's what it's designed to do. And if you're familiar, and if you've been in the detonator and have missed a compound or claim because of epoch rollover, we know that in those, you're not losing the funds per se. It's just prolonging it another day before you can take that ROI, right? With Fusion, it's the complete opposite. Rather than just having it roll into another day for you to be able to claim at another time, Fusion actually takes that and then reinvests it to increase your balance for you. So
Totally. And all the while, again, under the hood, you're going to hear us say that a lot. That means what's happening behind the scenes, that is constant buy pressure on EMP. So this is just one of about 10 mechanisms that will help us not only recover PEG, but maintain PEG. So again, we've said it over and over again, this may be the cheapest we see EMP and eShare. Again, not financial advice, but buying at these levels gives you massive upside potential because it will be this slow, climb back to peg because of all these mechanisms that are happening behind the scenes. So, all right, amazing. And yeah, Cody, if you see any other questions, feel free to interrupt me. I saw another question, but we'll get to it at the very end here. But this, again, this will probably be the cover of the white paper, again, EMP Fusion. As you can see, there's little what we're calling cards. And so some of these will be actual NFTs. Some of them will just be visual representations. But you'll be able to really a lot more visually interact with the protocol. And that's something I've been saying a lot now is that, we want to make things intuitive. So if you want to cash out in BNB, there'll be a battery that has the BNB logo on it where you can select that and start collecting BNB. Where again, it's a lot more intuitive. You don't need to know. You don't need to have a finance degree to know you got to go to the boardroom. You got to stake eShare. You got to know about epochs. All that we've learned through what EMP is now will be made much more simple in Fusion. So again, I'm sure people will speculate on some of these images as well, try to find some Easter eggs, but there is a lot coming for sure. So, all right, let me move on to the next image and we'll talk a little bit more. We have about 7 images we can release today. All right, so this is really the hub, the central hub. This will be the new UI for your microgrid. So, Cody, I don't know if you're going to just run through. Again, a lot of this is subject to change. Please understand, we're just sharing what we can now. But again, it's a lot easier to understand what you're yielding every day. As you can see, there'll be NFT batteries that you will be able to activate or inactivate, depending on some strategies. So I guess Cody, you just want to go over this at a high level. Again, we're already giving them a bunch of alpha here, so I think they can make their own conclusions. But go ahead, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many people have already screenshotted this on their
Yeah.
computers already.
Totally.
Oh man. So yeah, basically to reiterate what AJ said is we wanted to make EMP a lot more interactive and fun and be able to allow you guys to customize a variety of different things, right? And really make the EMP experience, your investing experience, custom to you, right? That's the nice part about not only with the batteries and how you leverage those batteries, but it's also like what other kind of protocols you're going to be getting, or excuse me, products you're going to be getting into within the protocol, right? So from there, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that there's the fusion stats, right? One thing that a lot of you guys, talking with quite a few of you in the community, you love your numbers, right? And so we definitely wanted to be able to provide you a little bit more analytical data based upon that. That'll allow you guys to basically forecast, to be able to kind of determine your ROI, and determine how much, if you're going to make an investment, a large investment, how much you would want to do that to see what your return on investment would be, right? So the underneath here, you have your daily energy payouts. So this is what your specific microgrid would be earning over the course of a cumulative type of thing with a rolling 12-month rollover. Again, this is subject to change. We will definitely be optimizing it down the road, probably giving you a lot more functionalities as we progress through different iterations and versions of this. But initially, we'll probably just try to stick it with 12 months or so. That way, you can kind of get an overview of where you're at. And then in the middle, it says the central grid. You can see how much you've deposited into the central grid. And underneath there, you'll be able to see your ownership, your energy that you're going to be receiving on a daily basis type of deal. And that, when I mean by daily basis, it's, every 24 hours, what you would be earning. Now, alpha, you may not have to wait a full 24 hours to earn energy. So take that with whatever you want. That's where I'm going to leave that. Right below that, it will you'll have active NFT batteries, and as you can kind of see, we've thrown up a couple of different ones here, just as kind of visual representation. I think we're going to start off with about 4 different slots that you can activate your batteries within, and then from there you can see that you don't have to utilize all 4. So that means that you'll be able to turn batteries on or off, depending on where you want it distributed. And now over on the left or right hand side of it, you will be able to set how the energy gets dispersed among your microgrid, right? And so you'll be able to have 3 different options to choose from. One is the equal distribution, which let's just say you had 20 daily energy points that you would receive within a 24-hour period. Obviously, if you have 4, 20 divided by 4 is each of these batteries would get a total of 5 energy per day. That would be the equal distribution. sequential order would start on the left and go to the right. So it would basically fill up one and then just keep rotating through them all until it filled them 100%. And what we mean by fill to 100% is then at that point, it completes a power cycle. And then that power cycle triggers the utility, whatever that utility might be for that specific battery. And then you have custom allocation. This is where, for those people that want to get a little bit more creative on how they want the distribution to happen, it'll be based upon 100% distribution, and you can go in and set the levels of distribution of where you want. So 1, you might want to put in 10%, where number 3, you might want to put in 35%, right? And you'll be able to go through and play with those numbers. So again, really just trying to allow you to customize the overall Fusion experience. And you can see that there's a couple of different other tabs up there, which are pretty cool. I don't think we're going to be releasing those to you guys today, but definitely gives you an idea of where we're headed with this and the amount of scalability. One other thing that I'll kind of leave you with is you know, the command center and this whole microgrid is the idea and concept around it was to almost kind of give it like a video game kind of look and feel, but also kind of allow you to interact with it like you would a game, online game or you know, video game of sorts, but also be able to have the whole ecosystem of EMP in one visual component.
Absolutely, Cody. Man, what a great overview. Again, if you guys are bullish about this, I don't know what to tell you. And yeah, 100%. I mean, Cody brought up a lot of great points. Let me go over a few things, and then we'll take some questions here and then move on to the next part. But Cody just made a really awesome point. It's something that we talked a lot about as a team behind the scenes. So EMP Fusion, we really want to make this a lot more like a game in terms of the interface, the way you understand it, and the way that you're able to explain it to somebody else. So, again, let me give you an example. One of my favorite games is Monopoly. So, Monopoly is pretty overwhelming for somebody that has never ever played that game in their entire life. But the more that you learn about the rules, the more that you learn about, you know, the fundamentals, what properties generate more yield than others, you know, that's where the game theory comes in. And after you play Monopoly a few times, it gets really easy to understand. And now, you know, just like you would go over to a friend's house and play a game at a game night, it becomes fun. And that is really the whole psychology behind EMP Fusion. We want it not only to be, you know, lucrative and an amazing passive income opportunity, but we also want it to be fun. And there is so many different ways to quote unquote play the game with all these batteries and different utilities that come along with that. Again, one thing Cody alluded to as well was even if you own a battery, that is the cash out method, but maybe you just want to compound. Well, you will have the ability to turn on and off your batteries as well. So maybe, you know, one week you just want to build your ownership and compound for an entire week or an entire month. Then all you have to do is turn the batteries off, and then 100% of your rewards go to building your microgrid. So there is so many ways to, again, quote unquote, play the game. And again, I think some of our community members will have their own, you know, dissertations on different strategies. I know Joe PV Trader, he's one I'm sure, will be putting together his own strategy. And that's what really is really cool about what we're building here. So, yeah, great overview, Cody. There are some questions I want to get into before we move on, but go ahead. Was there anything you want to add about that, Cody?
Nah, let's jump into those questions because I think it'll go over some of the things I wanted to cover too.
All right, awesome. So, all right, let me go through. I'm just really going to go one by one here. If I can't answer it, I will. If I can't, I'll just have to say pass. But we did discuss the fees again, fees, taxes, however, whatever terminology you want to use, it will be a very small fee associated with the marketplace, but all those fees will go right back into the protocol. So, all right, let's see, what do we have? I just lost my spot here. Okay, what is the unit for deposit amount, dollars, EMP, or something else? So, again, this is something we needed to clarify. We've been trying to clarify it all along, but the only measure of token that the only token you're able to transact in within the marketplace and within your microgrid is going to be energy or eShare. And energy is eShare. Energy is the illiquid version of eShare. So eShare will still be a tradable token, a BEP20 token. Obviously, there will be some other use cases for that, which we're not ready to release yet, in terms of even maybe more bonuses applied to eShare. But the idea is that once eShare is applied to the microgrid, that is energy. So you could essentially, cash in your eShare for more energy. To maybe get ahead of the game a little bit, or again, if you don't have eShare or you're not ready to invest more, you literally earn energy or eShare through the microgrid. And the amazing part about energy is that it is locked within the central grid and microgrid, meaning it doesn't necessarily equate to sell pressure on eShare. And I think that's a really big fear that people are having. We've seen eShare go down a little bit over the last few days. Again, I think people are just uncertain of what the future will hold. But if anything, again, without giving away too much info, there will be actually probably less sell pressure on eShare than what we're seeing now, even with all the mechanisms that convert eShare to supporting PEG. And once we are at PEG, that will allow eShare to absolutely skyrocket because there will be no need, to support PEG further if we're maintaining PEG, and that means a ton of less sell pressure on eShare. So again, not financial advice, but I think a lot of people are trying to determine what the better play is, EMP or eShare, and really the answer with no ulterior motives is both. And so again, all of that will be much more clear in the white paper. But anything you want to elaborate on that, Cody? I think people are still a bit confused on energy and eShare and that relationship.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not having the white paper out.
For
Because
sure, brother. Yes.
I think once the white paper comes out, it will clear up a lot of people's questions and confusion that they may have right now. But just know that everything that AJ's preaching about right now is trust me, it'll come to light here very, very soon for you. And it'll be that aha moment that you'll be sitting back going, oh, okay, that's why they couldn't disclose it. Okay,
Totally.
that makes sense.
Totally, brother. Absolutely. So again, everybody, not financial advice, never invest more than you can afford. But this may be literally some of the best opportunities we've ever seen in terms of EMP and eShare. So, all right, a few more questions here. Will there be any basically, what is the interval of the microgrid? So again, Cody alluded to this a little. The standard epoch now will be a 24-hour cycle, so once every 24 hours. However, again, Cody said maybe a little alpha. There will be mechanisms that will allow you to maybe increase the amount of, or decrease rather, the amount it takes for that rollover to happen. So again, you heard Cody mention a word that we haven't really talked about a lot, and that's a power cycle. So power cycle is essentially the time it takes for your battery to fill up. So again, I cannot confirm nor deny that there may be other utility NFTs that allow you to speed up your power cycles. So there you go. I probably said too much, but yeah, a lot of good stuff coming. And again, we've done a lot of research and testing to make sure that nobody gets an unfair advantage. But again, just like with any game, those that are investing more, are going to have certain perks. However, if you're a minnow, all you have to do is let that microgrid do what it does every day and build up your ownership in the protocol. And over time, you can compete with any whale just because you've been in the protocol the longest. So it really is very fair, um, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, for sure. So, all right, let me see. So what? Yeah, again, we talked about with the unit of deposit amount. Again, Eshare. But again, it also will revolve around dollar value as well. You'll be able to see your projected earnings in dollar value as well. So. All right, I think we talked about that. Before the EMP Fusion launch, should I buy more eShare than EMP? There you go, that's what I was saying. Or vice versa. Equals amount, what's the ratio? EMP ETH LP versus boardroom, 80-20, that's what we had said. Again, before Fusion, we always said to have at least 80% in the LP. And yeah, I mean, again, not giving financial advice, just making sure that you have, what you're comfortable with in EMP and eShare. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean liquid EMP. We've always said to just keep your LP because you're going to be earning. Again, Fusion may be another week or two or more. So why not earn while you're waiting on us to actually launch? So yeah, I would say definitely prioritize EMP ETH LP so you're earning. But as long as you have, again, up EMP, nodes, bonds, any part of our protocol, nobody is getting left behind in terms of Fusion. And again, there is no right or wrong answer of what is more important, eShare or EMP. I would just say a split of that would be covering both bases. So, all right,
Just have
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. All right, let's see what else. Cultivator and generator. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the detonators as a service within the white paper. That will be a lot more clear. Just know that the way they function in Fusion will be really, really beneficial to everybody involved. Again, all of you want your daily burst to go up, and we are doing everything we can to help make that happen. Some of you may have to jump through a little more hoops. Again, not to give too much alpha, but again, if you want to earn through those services, then it's better for everybody that way. So we'll have a full breakdown on the detonator and detonator as a service and how that interacts with Fusion for sure. So, all right, I think. What else do we have here, Cody? Anything else you want to elaborate on while I go through a few more?
Yeah, looks like Payne asked the question, will you be able to have more blue chip batteries as BNB cash out on the same moment? Yes.
Perfect. All right, there you go. Are monies you put in Fusion locked? All right, I love this question. So again, I'm not here to give a bunch of alpha. Again, there is some mechanisms that we haven't even gone over yet, but I can say that the microgrid will be sellable. So again, I know the big concern with NFT projects like this is that you invest a ton into the NFT, and now maybe you want to sell the NFT completely or a portion of the NFT, but then there's no liquidity or buyers to buy that NFT, and that can be a major issue. So we've addressed all of that in the microgrid as well, and you will be able to split up your microgrid. There may be an additional fee. Again, nothing crazy. We're talking single-digit fees But yeah, I mean, there will be options for everybody. And the amazing part about that is that you can essentially exit the protocol when you're ready, or exit a part of that protocol position without ever hurting peg, which is revolutionary. I mean, having it encapsulated in an NFT like this is so much more efficient than the original seigniorage model. So we're moving away from that, making things much more streamlined, and you know, eliminating that comparison of being a good actor and a bad actor, because you won't even be able to be a bad actor, even if you wanted to. So maybe just explain that real quick, Cody. I mean, that was a big part of the design process of Fusion, right? We don't want to have people dumping on our heads ever again, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%. I've been an investor in EMP. I was a little late to the game, but I was pretty much, I joined about a month after it had launched. And just the kind of guy that I am, I like to just sit back in the back of the room and just kind of observe what people were talking about. And it was awesome to hear about all the strategies that were going on. But then also like hearing some of the issues and complaints that people were seeing with actors within the community. It really got my wheels turning, and in real life, I mean, that's what I do for a living is help in companies kind of clean up their experiences of their user experience and journeys for their clients. And so that's what kind of gave me the idea for Fusion is to be able to create a safe environment for people to play in, but also to be able to just earn that passive income that if somebody was to dump on a project, right, it's not gonna affect everyone, right? I'm not a I'm not a super fan of the prisoner dilemma game,
For sure.
and and that's one of the things that I wanted to do is for those that want to play those games, because obviously they're high risk, high reward type of things, right? You Those are fun to participate in, but it shouldn't be part of the core strategy for somebody that's getting in for the first time that doesn't really know what that gameplay is, right? And so there needs to be a more safe mechanism that people can play in it. They don't have to play in it, but they can still participate in the ecosystem. And so, yes, to answer your question in a long-winded answer, yeah, that's what Fusion was designed to do, was to give people of any level the opportunity to keep earning a passive income without affecting the overall ecosystem of the protocol.
Amazing. Yes, I love that. And again, a lot of that will be even more apparent when the white paper is out. But to Cody's point, I mean, even when we started EMP, I mean, that prisoner's dilemma that Cody mentioned, again, I'm sure Google can do a much better job of explaining what that means in terms of a definition. But the short answer is that you're essentially held hostage, you know, by others in the protocol making the right decisions. And that has been an inherent problem with literally every seniors project out there, if not really every DeFi project, because you know we built a better mousetrap with a lot of things at EMP, but that there was still that risk that somebody goes into the boardroom, gets a bunch of EMP, and then dumps it on all of our heads. So Fusion was built to alleviate that. And again, comparing it to just DeFi in general, I think a lot of the mechanisms in Fusion could be applied to other DeFi projects, whether they're seniorage models or not, and that is valuable. And we definitely have plans on trying to release versions of this as a software as a service for other protocols as well. And that's another reason why we've been really slow and methodical on the rollout. I know a lot of you want Fusion here already, and the white paper done and everything now, but you have to realize that we need to be really careful on how we do this to protect the intellectual property as well. So, all right, great overview. We have a few more questions here, and then I'll give some more teaser images. Um, will Eshare liquidity stay outside of the EMP ecosystem? Will we still be able, or will we still keep suffering from trading bots? So, yeah, this is a great question. So, we are moving to what we're calling protocol-owned emissions. And with that, we also will have protocol-owned liquidity. So, the LP on EMP ETH will still be extremely deep. Um, but we'll be able to determine how much liquidity is actually needed to support the ecosystem. And this is really, really a game changer in terms of economic efficiency. And that allows even more capital to be distributed through rewards of Fusion. So the short answer is yes, there will be deep liquidity, but a lot of it now will be moving towards protocol owned liquidity, which makes things way more capital efficient. So I still envision multi-million dollars worth of liquidity on EMP. And again, hopefully at least $1 million of liquidity on eShare, if not more. But we'll be able to control a lot of that as a protocol. And again, a great way, a great example of this is Dex Finance. So they have had protocol owned emissions literally from day one, and they have only lost peg for about 2 hours, I think, over an entire year. So this is something that we borrowed from their concept, and it's a proven method. I mean, it's not like we're hoping that this works. It's proven to work. So all that is really exciting for the future. And again, Fusion builds even more on top of that. So all right, and bots again. If you're transacting through our marketplace, then no, there will not be sandwich bot attacks because you're just transacting directly through the marketplace. So that's another way, another bonus. Um, all right. I think that's all I can really answer. Somebody asked about marketing. Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're going to be doing a whole marketing campaign. I mean, you guys have seen the ability of LA and I doing, 2, 3, 4 AMAs a day. All that will be coming when Fusion is ready to roll. We just don't want to do any of that prematurely. We want to make sure Fusion is up and running with great results and everything is running like a well-oiled machine, and then we'll ramp up the marketing hardcore. And yeah, I mean, we're gonna have every eyeball in DeFi on Fusion for sure. So, all right, I think that was it. Was there any other questions you saw, Cody, or anything you want to add before we move on to what a battery is and what that looks like?
Sure. There, it's not a question. It's just a conversation that I see going on. Someone said I need a T-shirt and a beer mug to go further. I don't think you need to have a beer mug. I think what you need to have is that hat with the beer on both sides of it because your fingers are going to need to be typing so fast.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, those beer helmets, right? Yeah, it's
Yep,
100%. Oh man, that's
exactly.
funny. All right, cool. All right, let's go through. Let's look at some more eye candy here. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so there you go. Again, battery in every sense of the word. Again, I have had to blur out some of the UI, but this is kind of a visual representation of what the batteries would be. Again, BNB, ETH, or SPS. Again, partner tokens. Maybe you want to cash out in a partner token. Well, that will be available. And again, there will be a representation of these batteries filling up over time, with the energy being diverted towards those batteries. And once they're full, again, that is known as a power cycle, and that's where you're able to cash out with whatever token you have picked. So yeah, really exciting stuff. And again, it will all be visually represented through these sort of NFTs, whether they're actual NFTs or just cards within the UI. Both will be a possibility for sure. So, all right. Again, I had to blur out some of our potential partner tokens, but just another representation of how the battery will work. And again, you will see how it fills up over time. This would be an empty battery, and that would be a full battery. The blue goo is the energy represented. So, all right, awesome. A few more here. All right, again, so had to blur out some of the UI that, again, we're not ready to release, but this would be an examples of some maybe not only batteries, but also other utility-based NFTs that would give you, special perks within the ecosystem, or like I mentioned earlier, maybe cycling faster, and those NFTs will also be purchasable. So again, there's that, just like any traditional, game that you would play, a mobile game or console game. There's that dilemma of play to win, or pay to win rather, or pay to earn. And so the idea is that we're balancing both of that, and the only thing that you can't buy is time. So if you're a minnow and you have a bunch of time, and maybe you invested early into Fusion, and you've let your microgrid just continue to build up and build up and build up, you can easily compete with a whale that would just come in and spend a bunch on these NFTs, and you may even still earn more than they do because you've been in the ecosystem longer. And that's not unfair to new users as well, because the new users feel like they have a way to get ahead if they maybe, again, haven't heard of EMP before, and they want to kind of skip the line, they can. So this is really, again, proven economic theory that makes mobile gaming, billions of dollars a year, and we're applying all of those concepts to Fusion as well. So, yeah. Cody, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's good. One thing that I do want to mention is if you can go back to the previous slide.
This one or one more?
The previous, or no, sorry. Go back to the one you were just on.
Oh,
I thought it was a different one.
I'm sorry. Yep. Oh, sorry. I'm going all over the place now. This one? Oh,
Yeah, that one. Sorry. Yeah, just leave it at that one. That's fine.
okay.
So just to kind of clarify, this is a little bit of alpha, I guess. What you guys are basically seeing is what you'll find inside of the marketplace, right? So
For
there'll
sure.
be an array of different options for you to choose from not only batteries, but I'm going to drop some alpha here, right? You'll be able to purchase add-ons, and you'll basically be able to purchase power-ups. So those are two terms that we haven't used. With the batteries are not just visual, okay? That we've talked about power cycles with a utility attached to it, and there are so many different things that you will be able to do with those batteries that include add-ons and power-ups. So that's about as deep as I can go without having the white paper.
I love it.
But
Totally. Yeah.
hopefully that gives you guys some ideas of what you can do, but you can pretty much customize even your battery NFTs.
Totally. And again, because eShare is the sole currency of the marketplace, anybody trying to buy those add-ons or power-ups are going to have to use eShare. Now, we may be able to have it be, ETH or BNB, but just know that all of those other tokens are being directly converted into eShare, which gives massive buying pressure on eShare. So again, anybody that thinks eShare will be forgotten and not as powerful because the boardroom doesn't operate the same way, I would say you have no idea. I mean, eShare is going to be even more powerful in this ecosystem because again, having it be the main currency of the marketplace is huge. And again, who's to say too? Again, nothing I'm about to say is set in stone, but who's to say we don't just burn some of that e-share that we get by people buying in the marketplace? I mean, imagine how incredibly powerful Eshare would be if it eventually becomes deflationary, as our emission schedule gets smaller and smaller, and there's more and more, again, transactions happening in the marketplace. And Eshare already has an extremely low supply. So again, I mean, even at the end of the halving emissions, again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and listen to some older AMAs. But every year, the emissions of eShare is cut in half, just like the Bitcoin halving. And so even at the end of, the next 20 years, there's still way less than 100,000 eShare ever to be in circulation. And that is a very low supply for any sort of token, let alone a token that has as much utility as eShare does. So, all right, awesome. Let me see. We have 2 more images, and then we can answer a few more questions. There you go. Again, some more potential alpha. How it may interact with Detonator and Detonator products, as well as other partner tokens. And again, just more ways. One of those I had to blur out completely because we haven't announced that yet. So there you go. And again, much more visual, a lot easier to understand what you're accumulating over time. All right, and then this is one last final banger at the end. So this is an overview of what EMP, the actual website, will become. So like I said, along with all this, we're also going through a rebranding of EMP. So a lot of you've seen the new logo again with Fusion, and so there will be a brand new UI, especially with Detonator. I know a lot of you have been having issues with the video playing in the background. This will be a lot more easy to load and a lot more, again, analytical. Like Cody said earlier, all of you love your numbers and your statistics, so we want to make that as easy to read and see as possible. So again, a lot of this might change, so don't hold us to it. I just wanted to show what we're working on and how close we really are. So, all right, I'll leave this up for a minute while we take some more questions. Cody, anything on the last few slides you want to add while I look into some more questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. It's important for everybody in the community to realize that, with any software program that you use, there's going to be multiple versions of it come out. I mean, you look at Android, you look at the iOS for iPhone. I mean, they're constantly coming out with updates to improve it, and it has a lot to do with it based upon the data of user data that they're receiving, right? And a lot of the feedback and things like that. And so just know that even though these images that we're showing are subject to change before the actual launch of Fusion, there will be multiple updates from here on out as to how things look, how things perform. But it's all going to be based upon the community feedback and the data that we're receiving from the interactions that you guys have on a daily basis.
Yes, absolutely, Cody. Great points of clarification. And I think that's bullish. I mean, again, we've had a total of 3 now. This will be the 3rd complete redesign of our protocol. And I know other protocols, again, not throwing any shade, again, just stating facts, other protocols have been promising new UIs for literally, going on a year and never delivered on that. So we are, again, moving at lightning speed. We're always developing. We're always trying to innovate. And to Cody's point, while we're finalizing things, if we figure out something that is more efficient and better and just a better way of doing things, then we're absolutely going to take that extra time to implement that. And I know that might be frustrating for some of you, and there is a balance of, getting it done and having it perfect. We definitely understand that. But at the end of the day, we don't compromise on any of that. And again, if there's a V2, a V3, a V7, whatever it takes to keep delivering on yield for all of us. So, all right, a few more questions here. So, someone says, if we sell the NFT Microgrid, do we have to wait for someone to buy it, just like any other marketplace, or am I misunderstanding? So, again, really good question. I can say, again, without giving away too much info, there will be a little bit of a difference with that. So, yes, the short answer is yes. Obviously, when you're selling, you have to have a buyer, but the treasury is already doing floor sweeping on some of the other NFTs. Again, the Sentinels, the Defenders. We've been sweeping the floor from day one, and I don't see why we would not sweep the floor of our own microgrids as well, because the more of the microgrid, or the more of the central grid that the protocol itself owns, that means more and more rewards for all of you that are still in the central grid. So again, it behooves us to buy back our own microgrids, just like a company, would buy back their own shares. So again, make of that what you will. And I probably again have said too much, but it will be very efficient, for sure. So, all right, I think that's it. Let me look at a few more here. Yeah, I don't see any other questions. Just a lot of people excited. I do see that. Appreciate all of you and your
Yep.
support. Um, yeah. Again, somebody's asking for figures. If I started with $100, where would that put us? Again, all of the APRs, like Cody said at the very beginning, will be calculated on a 12-month basis. That's typically what APR is. Again, a yearly number, APY, APR. And again, we're not really at a point where we can give, projections. But I would say I don't see any reason why we are not going to at least match the APR now. It could be much, much higher than what it is. So it definitely will not be less. I can tell you that much. So, and again, all of that will be much more measurable when Fusion is live. And that doesn't even take into account, again, the DEX that we're building for L1X. That will be, revenue into the protocol, external outside revenue that is not dependent on any market conditions or new users. I mean, there's just so much bullish things happening that I can't even. Again, we could do, a 10-hour AMA and not go over all of it. So, all right, I think that was it. Still going through here. Oh man, you guys went through a lot of questions today, and lots of chatter. I love the conversations in the chat. Appreciate that. Again, the more engagement in the chat, the better for everybody. We have 65 viewers today as well. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe as well. And all right, I think that was it. Any other questions that you saw, Cody? Again, I tried to go through what I could, but I
Yeah,
think
I'm just looking on YouTube right now. Here's a good one. If the market crashes bad, does Fusion go along with it?
interesting. So, yeah, the short answer would be, yes. I mean, we are still a bit reliant on, the market conditions. However, overall, the idea is that we have enough protocol-owned liquidity, and assets that we have diversified into. So again, all the while, um, Fusion is running, we're still going to be building our treasury, and we already have a very healthy treasury as well. And again, a lot of you want us to spend that treasury to get back to peg, but then not only could we go broke, but we could also not maintain peg. So the idea is that we prioritize building a war chest. And so to answer that question, yeah, I mean, we would diversify into other revenue streams. So we have a lot of people wanting us to get into trading. We have a lot of people that want us to get into real estate, even stuff outside of crypto. So all that again over time allows us to be much less reliant on market conditions and simply reliant on the revenue that we generate. So Anything you want to add to that, Cody? Again, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, I think we're definitely on the same page. I mean, even if you look at the state of EMP in its current state, I mean, it's still producing great yields for people that are invested in the farms, invested in all the different DAAS products. I mean, you're still earning. There are other projects out there that claim to be giving out money, but in reality, they're just overinflating their whole kind of native coin that they've or token that they've got within
For
their
sure.
system. And so
For sure.
even though it seems like you're getting a lot, you're not really getting anything out of it, right? That's something that you're just going to have to hold on to and pray that it goes back up. But at least with EMP over the last bear market that we've been in, we're still seeing good returns on things that are actually paying out value, right? Like in Eshare and things like that. So
Yeah, great points, Cody. And again, I mean, another thing people don't realize is you could have literally tens of thousands of percent in APR, but all of that is just dashboard money if there is not liquidity to actually cash out. So what happens is a lot of these other DeFi protocols, they look really attractive on the surface, 2, 3, 4% a day or more. But when you go to cash out, there's like $10,000 of liquidity. And so you go to sell one token and you crash the price, in half. Well, at EMP, we have literally, the last time I looked, it was like almost $4 million of liquidity on EMP. And so again, that is unheard of. And it means that no matter what you're earning in EMP, that you're actually able to cash out. And we have every reason to believe that Fusion will make that even more. Guarantee of again realizing the gains that you're able to actually see on your dashboard. So we pride ourselves in that, and it's one of the reasons why we've been around for over a year now in one of the worst bear markets we've seen. When the market is really hurting, payouts are going to be less, and that's just the reality of the situation. But once we get back to a bull run and ETH is back over, $4,000 if not higher, BNB is back to $800. That alone could help eShare and EMP double or triple without any buying volume at all. And so when you really kind of think about that and the timing of us releasing Fusion now and having the next 6 months to build our positions, the end of the year could be massive for a lot of you that have stuck it out with us and continue to, support what we're doing. Um, Again, not financial advice, never a call to invest. This is simply code on the internet. I mean, we're not managing anybody's funds. It is a closed loop economy that gives eShare and EMP the inherent value that it has. So, all right, awesome. I think that was a lot of my notes today. Again, I know we're already over an hour. I know this is going to be a long one. I do have a few things I want to tidy up at the end, but before I get to that, Cody, anything else you want to mention with Fusion or any other last minute questions?
no, I'm just as excited for as the community is to get more alpha. I'm just as excited just to kind of share stuff with you. So I appreciate the invite, and I know a lot of people are missing LA. I'm missing her as well, having her on here. It's but it's fun being on here to kind of explain the vision and try not to go and give too much alpha out there, but just hopefully that we've been able to answer a lot of your guys' questions and go. But I'm definitely excited. We are really, really close. I'm working really close with the dev team to wrap things up and make sure that the vision comes to fruition down the road. And we're talking days, not months.
Totally.
And we'll get there, guys. Just hang on, be patient, and not financial advice, but just keep doing what you're doing and just keep things going, and you'll be loving life once we make the conversion over.
Absolutely, Cody. Amazing, brother. Again, always a pleasure having you. You were an amazing co-host today, even though, yes, we all miss LA. She'll be back on Monday for sure. And we have some exciting news about LA. We had mentioned it in a previous AMA, but some of you may even be able to meet LA if you're going to Consensus. So she's preparing for that trip. And we're going to have representation of EMP and our new DEX with L1X. So, all right, Cody, awesome. Thanks again, brother. And I'll have a few more updates and then we'll wrap it up. But we'll let Cody head on out. So, thanks, Cody. We'll have you back hopefully next week when the white paper is live.
Yep, sounds great. Looking forward to it.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, there you go, everybody. Again, Cody has been absolutely instrumental in all this. We say it all the time. We have big brain mother effers, and Cody exemplifies all of that. And I'm excited to really have been working with him and the dev team hand in hand for the last, again, almost 6 months, really bringing this home. And I'm excited. So, all right, last minute announcements and housekeeping. A lot of you have been having issues with MetaMask. So, we are working on some documentation. If you're in the group, the Telegram or the Discord, a lot of our admins have been trying to help where they can. Again, never ever give your seed phrase to anyone. Never connect to another, help desk or another wallet or any MetaMask support. None of that. All that shit is a scam. So don't do that. But definitely feel free to ask questions in public. And a lot of times it has to do with your RPC settings. So you can update your RPC. And I know MetaMask went through a major update as well with their own software. So there are some other ways around this, though. Some of you need to just press the default spending limit. When you're interacting with a contract, you will approve that contract, and there will be an approval process that will say default spending limit. So just make sure that you hit the default rather than typing in a number. That usually helps. Again, like I said, updating the RPC, you can go to chainlist.org, I believe it is, chainlist.org or .com, and that will allow you to see different RPCs that are running at a better rate in terms of speed. You can connect using that. If all else fails, then I would highly recommend moving towards Rabby. So a lot of you have heard of a new wallet called Rabby, Rabby. Again, I would only suggest doing this if you're somewhat of an advanced user, because you do need to import your private keys, and that can get very tricky. Again, if you are compromised, if your private keys are compromised, there is nothing anybody can do for you. So be very, very careful. But Rabby is a great third-party wallet that is really doing wonders in terms of user experience. So definitely do some research on Rabby, and we'll hopefully be able to release a Medium article or something that will help all of you as well. But those are just some last minute updates. One other last minute update, I will be on the Speakeasy channel tomorrow for an AMA. So again, our partner, it's not an official partnership, although I like to think of it as one. Speakeasy is an amazing protocol that uses EMP to help yield, and Speakeasy is a daily ROI contract that is very sustainable, and they have invested literally hundreds of, almost more than $100,000 for sure in EMP, if not almost 200,000. So they are big supporters of EMP and will continue to support the protocol while also generating yield for their own members. So again, Speakeasy, I'll be on their AMA tomorrow and talking about Fusion. So somebody asked about marketing earlier in the AMA. Well, there you go. That's the marketing for you. We're already on AMAs talking about Fusion, and it's not even here yet. So, all right, I think that is actually it. Again, about 20 minutes over our 1 hour time frame, but we're really excited for Fusion. About 75% sure we will have the white paper ready on Monday. I would say 99% sure we'll have the white paper at least next week. And so we'll hope to do it around, again, our AMAs. Thank you for joining us. This is our bi-weekly AMA every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, we love having you guys, and we're excited for what Fusion will be. So spread the word. Rewatch this AMA if you want to kind of really get a good grasp. Make sure you don't forget anything or miss any info. And again, spread the word on what EMP is doing and the future that we're building. So, all right, good night, good day. We will see you on Thursday. I'm sorry, Monday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.